Here with Carthage head coach L.J. Marks and student athletes Randy Hansen, Connor Wexter, and Jim Schultz. Coach, can you just talk about tonight's semifinal victory?
Fantastic. It was great. Coming in 1-2 against those guys, having lost them in the conference championship tournament final. Between that and the fact that we've got a very special relationship with Santa Cruz, both players and coaches were borderline what you would call best of friends. So a little bit bittersweet to play them and to beat them to move on, but probably no better a team to have it happen, to be able to compete against in the semifinal.
LJ, between the second and third set, I imagine you must have reminded the guys to avoid last night's outcome, and I guess they didn't listen for a while, but what occurred there that you eventually were able to stop?
We got a little tentative again, a little bit, and I don't know if it was necessarily that I needed to remind them about anything. I think they reminded themselves very well that we didn't want to have a repeat performance of last night. Runs and slumps and kind of the peaks and valleys that are going to happen in a game of volleyball when you're playing, when you've got two good teams out there. Teams are going to go on runs. You're going to get into a little bit of a rut. So the guys did a great job responding from it, getting right back into our system, and getting some confidence back. We talked a little bit about the last day and a half about there's a fine line between arrogance and confidence, and we need to flirt with both of them on the court.
Randy, you were pretty quiet that first set, and then things got a lot better for you. What was the difference?
Santa Cruz, they play lights out deep, and they always do. I mean, you're going to have to earn your kills at every point. So just got to keep swinging, be confident. The kills will come.
Coach Hollenbeck said that you hadn't been successful hitting down the line during this, when you played them in the past, and tonight you were. Did you adjust instead of try? I guess it must mean you try and hit the middle usually.
Well, I was just hitting what they were giving me, honestly. I mean, Connor was giving me good sets, so pretty easy when he's putting it right there for you.
Connor, especially, maybe you don't keep great numbers, I guess, in your head set to set, but I guess did you realize between the first and the second set or early second that, wow, this guy doesn't have a kill yet and maybe hasn't been quite heard from, even despite you guys taking the first set? Do you realize that as a setter and to think that we have to get him more involved?
I'm not going to lie, I didn't know that he didn't have a kill in the first set, but our system worked in the first set really well. We got to run a lot of middle, so that opened up the pins a lot for the second and third, fourth sets. So as long as the middles kept running hard, and Randy obviously is going to be up every time, so I wasn't too worried about that. So once it opened up, it was pretty easy. I just had to push it out to the antenna, and that's why he got to hit line. It was actually my fault during the season. That's why he couldn't. So yeah, he did extraordinarily well. So did Jimmy today. So that's kind of what happened.
Did any of you guys get any advice from the slugs about what you're in for tomorrow?
We're not at liberty to say.
No, well, Todd said that their fans are really.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be hostile. I mean, you're playing in your gym. I mean, their gym for a national title, but still got to play volleyball.
He made it sound like it might be over the line.
Yeah, I'll be honest, good. Our guys are. If you've watched us play it all over the season, anybody who's followed us knows that we're an emotional team. And a hostile environment. I'd rather pick a hostile environment than an empty gym, because it gives us something to get motivated around.
So is a fast start going to be really important, or
clean start?
What kind of match do you expect, though? Do you think the key to winning tomorrow will be?
Volleyball 101, aggressive serving and great passing. I think both teams have similar weapons. We run a very similar system and style of offense, similar system and style of defense with, as far as responsibilities. We have a couple matchups that I think are favorable, and I'm sure Coach Sullivan, has a couple that he thinks is very favorable. It's two big teams that like to hit balls hard from the service line and at the net, and both teams put up great blocks. It's going to be one of the more, as a lot of volleyball fans call it, one of the more enjoyable matches, because it's going to be won and lost at the net with guys hitting balls hard.
Jim, you guys were in a tournament last year. you're here again this year. What have the seniors done to help you get acclimated, or did you get all the acclimation you needed last year?
I mean, last year definitely helped. This year we have a ton more senior leadership. I mean, we had good seniors last year, but now we have 5. We actually have a real class. It's our seniors, and there's really good motivation. It's good to play for them.
You want to speak to that too? Something different?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Jimmy on that too. We had 2 seniors last year, and they were both extraordinary leaders. But this year, having 5, and having been at the Final Four last year as well, we all kind of know what to expect coming into it, and we're playing for them. We don't want them going away in tears. We want them going away happy. So that's kind of what it's about.
Connor, for tomorrow, with the size that probably you're going to face tomorrow, it seems like probably a big day tomorrow for you, just in terms of making great decisions, being 90% above and just perfect decisions. Just how about that? And how do you kind of get ready for that? Is that kind of a feel from point to point, or you go in maybe maybe some past stuff, maybe when you faced them I think last year?
Well, Springfield, like you said, is a big team. They're really good blocking and offensively. They actually run a really similar pattern offensively to us, so it's going to be kind of like playing each other in practice, almost like how we do at our practices, and they're going to see kind of the same thing. As far as decision making goes, if we pass well, then it'll be pretty easy to read the block. From my perspective, if we don't, then it's just going to be more of kind of trusting my hitters, which I do completely, especially at this point in the season. But yeah, I mean, if we can stay in system, then the block shouldn't be an issue for them or for us if they stay in system too. So it should be a battle.
Having enough adrenaline to get through tomorrow, is there any concern about that at all? Anybody?
No, definitely not.
Gotta ask.
Yeah. I would say adrenaline's not going to be an issue, and we've talked about it from early on in the school year that we kind of set out to be at least in our definition the best conditioned and best prepared team on the court. The amount of hours these guys have put in the weight room, and on the court getting themselves ready for long runs like this. We put ourselves in 2 tournaments where we had 3 tough matches over the course of the season. Twice we were in a tournament. We had a tough match Friday, tough match Saturday, tough match Sunday. Along with other matches where we had 4 and 5 match weekends, with 3 of them being against top 5 teams nationally, essentially. By no accident that happened. It was kind of a plan to see where we stand and to get the guys a little bit more understanding of what they're in for if they want to win a national championship. You got to play, battle through 3 tough matches in 3 straight days. We've done it. We've come out of it both times 3-0. We'll see if we can do it a 3rd time.
Coach, you brought down the number of fans yourself. There seemed to be some red in the seats.
We got a good group of parents that have traveled well this season with us, and obviously with a large senior class that's been successful. You would expect their families to be here and make the trip. So it's nice to have a few fans in the stands.
Best of luck tomorrow, guys.
Thank you.
Here, UC Santa Cruz head coach Todd Hollenbach and student athletes Jake Dietrich, Darren Sy. Coach, could you give us an opening statement?
Sure. I think two of the best teams in the nation just played in a semifinal, which is just how I think things are going to have to go for a while, which is unfortunate. But I'm glad we got a chance to play them again. I mean, we split with them this year, 2-2, and I mean both teams played really well. I mean, if you look at the stats, only a couple things stand out. I think we didn't block as well as we needed to this match. And I mean, it was all timing's everything. I mean, a couple things, I would say 1 or 2 things in the first game and in the 3rd game go differently. It's a different match, but every time against Carthage is always a battle. I mean, they're a great team. I mean, the competition's there. It's unfortunate it had to be in the semis and not the finals.
Whatever plan you came up with to kind of keep Randy Hansen in control seemed to work okay in the first set because he didn't have any kills, and then he had all 17 in the last 3 sets. Was it him? Was it you guys?
I mean, he hadn't hit that well down the line the entire season. I mean, and I think he did a good job. I mean, just until that last game, he still wasn't hitting that well. And we've beaten them with Randy hitting very well before. It's all, we usually, the trouble we have is that Pat Barry is hitting very well. And he was, and that's why we were losing the first 2 games. And even with Randy hitting well, we still were able to win the 3rd game. And I mean, we had a good shot at that 4th game, but a little service run definitely changed things up a little bit.
Did guys like Schultz, Frings, and Jans ultimately make the difference?
No, I don't really think so. I think it's all on our side of the net. We didn't block nearly as well as we should have. I think they hit well, but it wasn't anything we hadn't seen before. And so I think we just weren't making the big blocks that we're used to making. I mean, 4.5 blocks that's the worst we blocked the entire season.
Jake, you stopped on your way out last night. You stopped at the Carthage bench to talk to some of the players and said something about, I wish we could have won our match in 3 sets. Were you shocked that it went 5 sets? Or when did you find out that it took them 5 sets to win last night?
Well, we stayed for the first 3, I think. I went out to the car around the 4th set, but people stayed. And they were saying that they had, that Naz was coming back and was in the lead on the 4th set. And so we were driving home. Someone had found on their phone that they were at the 5th set, and we were all shocked. So we went up to our hotel rooms and watched the 5th set. So we knew they had gone 5, but which we were shocked about, to say the least. But you know, Naz is a good team, but Carthage is obviously one of the best in the nation. They're going to pull home. So,
can you talk a little bit about the mutual respect that you seem to have? It seems like it's not just between you and Carthage, but with everybody. But to me, it's a little odd that there's, because you don't see that much anymore. At least I don't. Maybe I'm not covering the right sport.
In my opinion, the volleyball community is small comparatively to like football and basketball. And when you play men's volleyball, you know a lot of people, and a lot of them tend to be nice guys. I mean, Randy and Ty are probably one of the nicest guys I've met, and there's no reason to dislike them. We have to play against them. You can respect them and still want to beat them. So there's no reason to dislike anybody.
When do you guys go back?
As early as we can, probably 7 a.m.
Okay, so you won't be
Yeah,
here.
because we've got guys that have tests on Monday and they can't miss. So.
Jake, back to today. How about the blocking? I mean, you're kind of part of that, even though you're on the outside. But was there timing? They play a quicker offense, maybe threw that off from your perspective to have that low number in blocks. It's kind of surprising for the size you guys have. We definitely run a lot through our defense, and so we may be very big up front, but a lot of our blocking purpose is to get touches for our defense. I had a couple soft blocks that, there's something to be said to having a libero like Darren Sy behind you. He just gobbles up everything. He's ready to play. So I don't necessarily have to go for stuff blocks and try to get those points, because we can play from our defense, transition, and get kills. What would your advice be now on a Carthage? I mean, taking on a Springfield team that's rolling, that's also very big. I mean, I'm sure you saw them at least play in person. What's kind of your general thought about what you have to do to beat a team like that?
They just need to play their game. I mean, they did it against us tonight. I mean, they hit hard, they block well. They're a very fundamental team, and when they play fundamental volleyball, they win games. So that would be my advice.
Darren, what do you think? How about today? I mean, were you seeing more balls at you today than usual because it was a lack, not as many blocks?
I think our blocking was okay. We got a lot of touches. They came firing, and they were attacking us. It wasn't anything we weren't expecting, and they just outplayed us today.
Coach, for a team that's so oriented on ball control and defense, can you just talk about Darren's career and how great he was, especially for you this season?
Darren definitely has had an interesting career at Santa Cruz. Coming from being a walk-on guy that just was coming up to school for walked around and met some of the guys and said that the guys told him they're having a tryout, and he came and tried out. To last year, and we've always kind of had a revolving libero situation, just because we've always had really good liberos. So one libero might play for a game, and then we'll switch liberos and just kind of do that for a while. But after last year, Darren really kind of moved into his own in terms of not only his technical skill, because he's always had that, but more of his mentality towards the game and his ability to work with the other guys on the court really all came together this season. And I think that's what really made him not only an All-American, but an even more intricate part of our team in keeping us in the system rerun.
Congratulations on a great season, guys.
Thank you.